I believe these are projects. Okay, now let me start walking you through what your entire DBT project is about. This folder, the topmost folder here, right, is our parents directory. Is where all your DBT is where all your DBT. Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. Okay, you're not seeing it. I feel like oh, yeah, it's your network. It's definitely your network. But can hear me clearly? Okay, I think for now we'll just manage with what I'm saying. So if you look at your project, you would see Jaffle Shop, right? That is your parent directory. That's the Jaffle Shop folder is your entire DBT project. So everything under that Jaffle Shop, you can definitely change the name of your projects, right? But when you're creating it using that method that we use, that DBT initialize method that we did last class, it just gives us this templated form Jaffle Shop, right? So inside our DBT projects, we have the entire structure of our project. And here we have in your own project, just be looking at your own project, also following on your own project, you would see you have, starting from here, you have macros, right? This is where the important stuff starts from. So DBT packages and logs, you can ignore those. Let's go down to macros. So starting from here, we have macros and then models, seeds. Yep, yep. Mm. Just if you're not seeing logs, ignore you can ignore it. But you can see the rest, right? If you can see the rest, just ignore it. I'm not going through that. It's not it's not really meaningful to us right now. So you have macros, you have models, you have seeds, and then you have targets. These are what you'll be using most of the time in your projects. Then down here you have dbt projects.yml. Like I said in last class, this is a very important file. Is literally like the settings for your project. That's how I put it. Is the configuration for your project, the settings of your project. So here you can see we have Jaffle Shop. So remember the name of our project, of our DBT project is Jaffle Shop. You can always change this name. Next, we have profile. Our profile is Jaffle Shop. Now, you don't want to always change the profile name, but most times when you're setting up your project, it gives you this folder as it is. You know, you're not the one that created this, but you can always edit things inside it. So why you not want to change this name, I'll show you in a moment. You can change it, but you also have to change it somewhere else, right? So you have seed parts, model parts, and macros parts. Now this seed parts is telling your project, your DBT projects, right, where your folders are. So your seed part is in the seeds, right? And your models part is in models folder. Your macros are also in your macros folders because those are the most important things. It's going to tell because DBT is a compiler, right? Is the app. You know, you installed an app on your system, right? The compiler itself, the program, right? So this is telling that program where to get its folders from. And then you also have targets, which is these targets here. Now, what's the first thing we are going to focus on is models. Like I said, models are every SQL script that you write in your DBT project. Right? This is models includes everything from your transformation to your modeling to your data cleaning, everything that I want to do in SQL inside DBT. This is the core of it. Anything outside models is just addition, right? But everything else is going to be used inside models. So for example, now we have maths and we have staging. So let's use a staging model. So understand what staging and maths is. It's just that is data warehousing design concepts. We won't be going into that today. But so first thing here we have this STG underscore customers, meaning customers staging model. Right. The same thing with this. This is STG underscore location, meaning our location staging model. They call it staging because this is where you perform initial data cleaning in this particular model, especially if your data is more complex than this. So if you look at this inside this staging file, you would see your SQL code. This is a CT. This is an SQL code. So the first thing we are doing is we are selecting from our customers table. Your customers table is this customers reference is going to be a table inside your BigQuery project, but there's no BigQuery, there's nothing inside here. There's nothing inside your own yet. So even if you run it, it will give you an error. So we are selecting. This means select everything. So select all classic SQL scripts. Select all from this table, raw customers table. Now, ref is a DBT function, right? It's referencing this table in your BigQuery. When you run everything, you see how everything works. It's referencing this table from your BigQuery project, right? And then you're just performing a little transformation here. So ID as customer ID, you're renaming a column. So the column name is ID, and you're renaming it as customer ID, and name as customer name. So where did these two columns come from? If you're familiar with SQL, they came from this table. So if you see here, select all. So in this all, there's ID and name inside this table. And then you created this city as you named it source, right? So everything you selected from this table is going to be inside this, let's say variable, if you understand variable. Let me just say inside this entity source. And then from that source, you're now selecting it here. So select those columns from this source up here, right? So you're selecting the column name and then you're renaming it. Just a very little transformation or data cleaning. That's what you will do here. So this now is your customers model. This is basically what a model is when they say build DBT models. It does not pass SQL scripts, right? It can go from simple scripting to a more complex scripting. So that's what models are all about. So you can see the remaining models, they are kind of similar. Why are they similar? Because we're using a very simple data set. And the data set we are using is given to us inside here. So this is the data set that we are using. DBT gave it to us, generated and gave it to you guys to make use of. So you have customers, items, orders, products, stores, and supplies, classic e-commerce data sets, right? The moment we run this DBT project, all these data sets here, yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Okay, so I'll just continue from here. So if you got this part, this is literally your model in DBT. Whenever you hear create models in DBT, this is it, right? Your DBT models translates to SQL scripts. As long if you know how to write SQL scripts, you know how to write DBT models in DBT. So we now have these seeds. The seeds is the data given a sample data given to us by DBT themselves. So if we run this project, this raw data would be loaded into your BigQuery data set. Right, it will be loaded into a BigQuery data set in your BigQuery project, and then it would be inside BigQuery that every transformation. So assume your model is a transformation, right? It's inside BigQuery, your whole transformation is going to happen, not on your local system, right? So I'll run my projects here so that you see how everything works. Hopefully, I don't see get an error because I've not run the project before. Let me run it now and see. New DBT projects. Let me go into Jaffu Jaffu Shell. So what I want to now is I want to run this project and hopefully it should run properly in our DBT project. We have models, Jaffu Shell, staging view. Okay, so dbt run, that is the command that we'll be using. So let's hope it runs without any error. Okay, so technically everything's there's an error everywhere. Let me read it and see. Fails to download for DBT platform projects. Continue not found. Define your project with ID set under DBT Cloud. I'm not using DBT Cloud. Filter projects transform raw dot raw product. Okay, so one moment. Projects untitled projects. DBT Cloud accounts. Um, okay, so the command I just did, are you guys still with me? Okay, so the command I just did was I had to first load all this. This is the raw data. This is what we are transforming, right? If this is not inside our, if it's not inside our BigQuery project, we won't be able to run our DBT project. So I had to run this to get this loaded into our BigQuery project. So if we go into BigQuery, I should see a data set called transform underscore raw. And then inside that data set, I should see my various tables inside. So let's go and check BigQuery. If I refresh this, hopefully, so we can see our table inside here, our data set inside here, and with all our tables inside. So on your own end, I guess that's the very first thing that you guys are going to do, right? What you first run is dbt seed, and hopefully that also works fine on your own end. So can you guys run this particular command? Just go into your VS Code, open up your terminal, right? After you've launched your project, open up your terminal and then now run dbt seed inside, right inside your command prompt there. So this is what you want to run. So hope you guys, okay. So what you do is once you open up your, if you open, okay, let me even close my tab now. If you open up your terminal, you can click up here and open up new terminal, or you can just literally go down here and drag it up. You see, you will see your new terminal inside here. So you've located your terminal, right? Okay, good. How about you, Miss Bisola? Okay. The next thing you want to do is you want to ensure that your terminal is inside your DBT project. Now, if you look at this, you can see this is the part you're in now. See users, documents, GitHub. This part I'm in. I'm inside new DBT project, but that is not my DBT project. My DBT project is inside Jaffle Shop, like I said, right? So I want to enter inside Jaffle Shop. Jaffle Shop is inside new DBT project. I want to enter inside my Jafu Shop directory, right? So also check yours. If you're not inside your Jafu Shop directory, you just enter into that directory, cd into your project, into your DBT project. So when we are done, let's confirm that we are inside our DBT project. Yeah. Okay. What did it say? And so what is your own? Are you already confirm something? Confirm if you're already inside your project, right? If you're not inside, if you're inside your project, then you can't. You're not entering inside anything again. So confirm this part here. See users. Is okay. Yeah. you should- Okay. So now you're inside your Jaffa Shop project. What do you want to do next? We want to run this seed, your data. In most cases, if you don't have seeds, you may not even need to do it. But since you don't have a raw data inside BigQuery, this is where your data is coming from. So you're going to now run dbt seed. What this will do is it will transform this your data, store it inside a data set in BigQuery. So that's what you want to do. I've already run mine, so you people should run yours. dbt seed. Yeah. You know what's happening? I'm trying to expand your screen, but for some reason I can't see it. I can't see where to expand it. It's just very small. Don't worry. Just hold on. I've gotten it. Don't worry, I've gotten it. Okay, let me see. Fail to create remote for Jafu Shop dot raw supplies projects cannot fetch token. Cannot fetch token. Invalid. Token must be short-lived. What's such a funny error? Try running it again. Let me see. Let me be sure it's not the same thing. That is error in Sage. I don't really think it's we've not done anything on the model, so that's not an issue. It's literally just your first scroll up. Let me see. Let's see. No, you're going too far. I want to see the error. Scroll down to the error. Okay. Yeah, it's okay. DB driver fail. Database error. Seed. Hold on. Bisola, can you hear me? Saying you lost your network trying to reconnect. Can you correct the time on your system? Yeah. First step, correct the time on your system. Then we'll move to the second step. See date and time. See it's up now. You just skipped it. Date and time. Can just put automatically. Just put it automatically. Set time automatically. Select down to 7656. So close it. Yeah, run it again. Let me see. By the way, why is your time on 2 a.m.? And that is what I wanted to ask you. Let's, let's be aware. So hopefully that should run now. So you see some errors are just beyond your skill. It's still running. I see my screen. Okay. So I believe Mr. Ezekiel, you've also checked your DBT, your BigQuery data set. Okay. So once you're here, okay. So one more thing, Mr. Sola and Ezekiel. Once you're here and you want to check for anything that you did, just click on this refresh button, right? Instead of clicking here. So just click on this refresh button. So the time is almost up, 11 minutes. Let me end the call. Set it again. So now we all have our data set inside there. So what exactly happened when we run when we run DBTs? Okay, I didn't forget. Yes, I am. So what happened when we ran DBT seed? What DBT did was that it's hold on. So what DBT did was that it's materialized in DBT's language, they call it materialized, right? So it's materialized our data sets inside BigQuery. That's the fancy term that they use. So anything that goes on, anything you see inside here, these data sets, your models here, the moment you run your DBT project, what it is referred to is materialization. So if you run this project and you see it inside BigQuery, what you would say is that your project was materialized inside BigQuery, so inside your data warehouse. It just simply means it's created it inside it. That's the fancy term. So all this our data was materialized inside um, a BigQuery warehouse. Now, if you check your warehouse, you would see, if you check your storage, what is there is you would see transform raw. Now, first question is how and why was it named transform raw? So if you check here, if you check these profiles, right? So it's the same thing in your own project also. You should see schema, and the schema should be called transform. Right. So the schema simply means whatever data sets you're creating in BigQuery, right? You're going to name it. Yeah, the profile is kind of hiding in your system. They don't really show it to you. So, anyways, let me just show you what it is. Let me show you where it is. If you go to your file explorer, then go to your C drive. I'm the one that opened it there. So go to your C drive, and then inside your C drive, you go into your users and then your system, your user. your user profile. So once you're inside your user profile, you want to search for .dbt. Even without all this long story, if you can even just search it here, .dbt, maybe it's a pop up. Okay, that's why I don't like using this search. So let's ignore this one. So just look for .dbt and then you check it, you'll see profiles inside. Yeah. So these profiles is what stores your configuration that you did when you were creating your DBT project. If you remember, you selected all these things when you were creating your project, right? So it just stores everything inside these profiles, and this is where it picks up all the information from about your BigQuery project. So this is your BigQuery database. Then this now is your BigQuery dataset transform, right? And this is your other configurations. So inside, yeah, I say anything. Okay, so inside these profiles, you have schema transform, and then inside your DBT project, you have now this is seeds. This is specification for your seeds directory, right? It's simply this is not extra settings. This settings is only for this seeds directory. Now what it's saying is here is that under seeds, the schema, remember we have schema here, right? So we already have a schema here. So the schema should now be raw. Just add this raw to your schema. Add this raw to this transform. Right, that's what it's going to do. It's going to append that raw schema to transform. And then you now see here build seeds info your schema name underscore raw. That is literally what you see inside here. So that is your schema name plus your seed schema, right? That is literally what it is there. So anything that is specified there is what will be specified inside your BigQuery project, right? So the next thing we want to do is we want to run our main DBT project. What we just did was we materialized our data sets. That's all. Now I want to run our main DBT project itself so that it materialize inside BigQuery. So for this one, you want to do DBT run. Emmanuel, Emmanuel, close that freezer. What is that? Only meat. You don't eat everything. Are you okay? Bring what is left inside that. Bring what is inside that. 1 second, 1 second, I'm coming. And 1 moment, I'm coming. Bring what's inside that line. Bring it. Let me see it. What's that? Huh? Is that what I'm asking for? I'm asking of the ram that you're eating. Bring it. Bring what's inside that plate. Since you people, you take things with no conscience. Am I supposed to give you this thing again? It's not mom that's supposed to eat this thing. So this is what mom should eat. How do you know? Please bring me the other plate here. So then if you not carry out this thing, I will not it's not me that will eat this one. Emmanuel, don't even laugh at me. Don't give me this thing. You can't. You know what? This thing is more important. I'm sure. Choose my pieces. Okay, one. Sorry, what were you guys saying? Let me run mine. Okay, and you guys have gone ahead of me. Wow, no problem. Okay, so you ran yours. Did you come across any error? A warning. Okay, ignore the warnings. Those ones are later work. So what's the warning about? I would also get the warning. Now the warning is because yeah, the warning is yeah, uh, the warning is because it's trying to use DBT Cloud. Right? We are using it's a long story, but the main thing has worked. Right? The main thing has worked. So you can go back and check your BigQuery and just refresh here, and you can see your data sets. Okay, good. So now everything has been run inside. So let's unpack what happened. Right, the moment you did dbt run, it runs this particular folder. So it runs this models folder and everything within it, both the math and the staging. And naturally, dbt already knows that it has a lineage, right? A particular model. If you run this now, if you run this one first, customer.sql, without running this one first, you get an error. But dbt already knows the step on how to run it. So it runs staging first, and then it now runs the second one, which is this one, math models second. So how does it know that in the first place? If we go down to any of our models, let me go to the customer in maths. Now just open up here and click on, why can't I, sorry, okay, I have this here. I have a missing, okay, lineage. I want to be sure Ezekiel is with us. Okay, but you had to check problems. Uh, ignore any, ignore the problem there. It's still the same. It's the same from the warning that I got the other time. It's the same thing from this warning. Okay, so let's go back to our lineage. Now, as I was saying, how does DBT knows what to run and in which order? So in this is the last model that it's run, right? If we go to the lineage, we should see the track, right? We should see the track of our data from the sources to the final model, right? So here we have models, right? We have customer. This customer is this very one here, right? So this customer is what is here. Now from customers, we now have staging customers. So we can see staging customers come before customers. I don't know why selecting from others also, but can ignore that. Okay, it's just doing some transformation. Let's ignore every other complex stuff. Let's just focus on this particular line here. So we can see from customers, we are getting our data. This is literally telling us that our data is coming from raw customers. Okay, in DBT, no, technically your seed is just your data. It's your raw data. So if you can literally open it up and you see data inside. Yeah, so it's the data that we used, right? Your model is your transformation. Yeah, I'm here. So your model is your transformation itself, is what you're writing to transform. Is what you're writing to transform that data. So our back inside our model, you can see we have customers. We have from raw customers. So from this one here, raw customers, staging customers, going into staging customers, and then going into customers. Right. So this is the lineage of our data. This is how our data is flowing. Now, how does DBT know? How can DBT tell how your data is flowing? Is because we use this ref keyword inside here. So if you go inside here, you should see a ref keyword, right? So this ref keyword is literally this ref keyword on its own is what is telling DBT that hey, this is where this is where our data is coming from. If you didn't use this ref keyword, let's say if I were to remove this, okay, okay. So I think I stopped at showing the lineage, right? The entire lineage. So we can see here that this is literally how our data is flowing. Right? This is how our data is flowing across everything that is here. Right now, inside here, you can see everything is coming from raw, yeah, our raw sets, and it's going directly into staging models. Right. So from inside staging models, we can see is now going into this other items model. Right. Whatever is being modeled inside here, right, is going inside that particular model. So we can even see it in where is it inside here. So we can see it inside this maths, right? So from inside these other items is now still going into our orders model, right? So orders here, and orders is now still taken from staging underscore orders, and then everything is now going into custom. As you can see, is also still getting from another. Honestly, all this is just, yeah, it's also it's really just some sort of modeling, right? So even here we can see we are going into, okay, these are tests. These are not models. These are tests. If you go into these customers, what you would see here, if you understand SQL, what you would see here is this is an aggregation. So it's literally aggregating everything here and it's giving you some sort of metrics, right? So this is lifetime orders, right? This counts lifetime orders. This is repeat buyer. These are all just aggregations. Okay, Mr. Ezekiel is back. Let me sure I can hear me. Mr. Ezekiel, no problem. No problem. You understand? At this point, we'll just be telling ourselves we understand. Yeah, I'm still explaining this step. So continue from there. Okay. So everything you can see inside here is literally just the flow of your data, right? You can see where it's coming from down to where it's going. That's the entire purpose of lineage, not just for telling us where it's going, but it also tells DBT how to run this particular data. And everything is tied together like this using this ref keyword. Everything is tied together using this ref keyword. So here inside these customers, we are referencing staging customers. Now, supposing I were to remove this, supposing I were to remove this, and let me say I want to query it. I want to query it directly from our BigQuery table, right? Without all this, without using ref. And I do transform. Where is it from? Transform dot staging underscore customers. Right now, this is still literally the same table. Nope. This is literally the same table in BigQuery, right? But I'm removing this ref keyword just to show you guys the effects of what this will do. So our lineage will be recalculated again, and you would see this particular model okay, it's still connected. You can see now it has been disconnected from staging customers, right? It has been disconnected from staging customers and is still connected to only orders. So let me just remove that also. So you can see now it's standing on its own because simply because of that ref keyword, right? That ref keyword, as simple as it is, it does a lot under the hood. So always important to make sure your references are in order. Let me put everything back. Okay. So now all our data is flowing from one model. These are called your, if you've ever heard your terms in oil and gas, right? These are your upstream models because this is a pipeline. These are your upstream models. These are models down here. Your downstream models are basically what is collecting from a previous model. But it's not really something you should worry about. It's not an English you should worry about. It's just something you should be aware of in case you hear or you come into those in case you hear something like that, right? So these are your downstream models, these are your upstream models up here. So finally, as you were saying, Ms. Bisla, you were talking about relationship or something. So yes, this is literally just how your data is flowing. And inside this model, the model here is just an aggregation. Right? This is your main, what's inside here? Customers. There's no customers here. Raw customers. Okay, this is here. This is your main customer file. This is your regular customer file, right? The returning customer ID and customer name. And then this customer is literally just an aggregation of each of those customers. So this is where you start reporting relevant metrics, right? If they want it aggregated, it can be returned as a table, right? But in this case, you are doing some aggregation here, as you can see. So we are counting and performing some summaries inside, not us though, but what DBT gave us, performing some summaries inside here. So important concepts you should know in SQL is just CTE. Understand how CTEs work, right? CTE are just like scoped queries within a bigger query, right? So all these are CTEs. This CTE simply means it can stand on its own. So if you click this preview CTE, you can run this query by itself, right? Without running the entire thing. So this is what you get, right? This is what you get from that particular city here. And this customer's city is what is now returned. So everything here is now stored inside these customers, and then it is now returned inside here. So here we can see from customers. This is where we are now picking these results, and then we are using it inside here. So if you now go to this one also, another city, right? Customer order summary, that's the table. So if you check inside here, if you check it, this is our result, right? This is the entire summary that was created here. So customer ID, customer lifetime orders. This guy made only 3 orders in his whole lifetime, right? Is repeat buyer true, and so on and so forth. Every other information, and then everything. All these cities are created. They are now joined from at this place. So this is your main query. This is your final query down here. So you can see customer city, order city, customer order summary city from orders. So this is speaking from here. Right? This is speaking from this one, right? And then joined customers from customers. This is speaking from your customers and is also picking from customers orders summary. So it's joining 2 of them inside the city and is now returning everything inside here. So this is what your model is literally returning, this last place. Every other thing up here are just extra modular way of writing SQL. So if you learn about cities, you're good to go with most of the things you write in DBT is organized as cities, right? So just one concept that you should understand. Maybe we would even go through it in another class. So what is time? 8:56. So you can see our lineage. We've seen it's been materialized inside BigQuery. Right? Everything has been materialized inside BigQuery. The last thing I would like to speak on is the type of your model. Right? So here you have tables and here you have views. If you go to your if you go to your DBT project, inside this DBT underscore project.yaml, we have specified our models inside here. So we have staging and then we have maths. And here we have specified staging to be materialized as a view and maths to be materialized as a table, which is what happens inside here. So those maths models are created as a table, while staging models are created as a view. What is a view and what is a table? Let me go back. So a table is literally just the entire your query that you made, right? It is stored as a table. If you go in, you can preview your table directly um inside BigQuery. But views are not transformed as a physical table. It's just the model that is stored, right? It's just stored as a query. We can't even view. So inside this one, you see inside locations, you see preview. You can preview your table. But inside your view, you can't preview it because it's not a table. It's not an existing, it's not a physical table, right? You have to query it. So it's being stored, all these queries here inside staging, it's being stored as an SQL query within BigQuery and not as a table itself. So there are reasons why you store a model as a table or as a view. And maybe in the next class we'll go through that. Okay, so I believe we've gone through a number of things today, from running your project to what seeds are. Seeds are your raw files. I'll explain better what seeds are in the next class, right? And then your maths, your models themselves, right? And how your models are materialized inside BigQuery. Also with your DBT project and understanding how your DBT project works, right? So these profiles that I skipped the last class, I skipped earlier. These profiles is simply coming from your profiles.yml file, right? So that is this is here. This is Jafu shop. This is your profile. So inside dbt project.yaml file, what it's telling it is go to your profile file, right? Your profile folder, your file, right? And you want to check for any profile that has the name Jafu shop. So it will go inside here, it will check every other thing that is there. Right? I have a lot of projects going on, but it will check everything and it will see the name. So this is default, this is full house, this is ecom store. It will look for that particular one with Jafu shop, and then it will use every configuration inside there to connect with your BigQuery project. So you have your BigQuery, you have your database, your data sets, and your service accounts authentication. Right? So this is just connecting to your BigQuery project. Okay, so I guess we understand everything we've gone through today, and if there's any question before our 12 minutes end, right? If there's any question that we have, let's lay down.